Hi, so I thought I would do a little bit of video. I'm trying to get back into it. My desk is a disaster. But I'm really excited about this and I wanted to, record it kind of as I go because I think it's a really cool piece and this is the biggest thing I have worked on so far and I'm really excited about how it's turning out. I haven't done much really fancy with basing or terrain before, so this is a huge project for me. And I've posted some pictures. I kind of wish I had thought to start video back when this was still separate pieces. But just to go over real quick what all went into it. This is it's all built off a wood plaque, which you can't, it's a little blown out there. It's a couple bucks at a general hobby store. Not the greatest wood quality, but it's decent. I had to sand it a little bit, and I'll probably smooth it out a little bit as I go, but it's fine for what it is. And then I used some insulation foam and I chopped that up and I used that to get volume. Since I knew that I wanted my models to be at different heights and to just build this up a little bit. So foam's the easiest way that I know of to get a lot of volume quickly. And then around the foam, I did some plaster and you can kind of see here. And I used, when I cut the foam, I kept the shavings. Let me see. I got a bag here. So I kept all the little pieces of foam that I cut off and then I used that as fill just to get a really quick and dirty, rough, rocky texture. And then the plaster on top of that. And then I kind of swirled the plaster around as it set up. And it's just regular, it's hydrocal plaster, so a little bit tougher than plaster of Paris, but in the same wheelhouse. And that gave me all this lovely texture right here. And then once that was done, I sealed it with PVA glue, which I still kind of missed as it turned out when I spray primed because it's supposed to keep the foam from melting from the propellants, and I still managed to melt it a little bit. So after I did the plaster, sealed it with PVA, and then next, you can kind of see, got some nice gritty texture. I didn't do sand all over. I just kind of strategically drizzled it on here, and that's fairly fine textured sand. Trying to find the bucket here. Sorry, I'm still getting used to all my lighting here. I used, and it's pretty tiny. It's just enough to give me a little bit of grit. And then on top of that, I did bark chips because I like how that kind of looks like stone. So I didn't want to do bark chips all over because I wanted a lot of variation in the texture. Because I wanted it to look like just some kind of alien planet that a fight's happening on. And I knew I wanted it to be a little rocky, a little muddy, a little dusty. And this kind of has all of that. It's a lot of different textures. So, and the cool thing is because I did the elevations before I did the bark, is I've got some neat little tunnels going on here. And I wish I could say I had planned that out from the beginning, but as it turns out, I got all my elevations done and I had roughed out where I wanted my figures. It's my little chaos guy. Everyone still has blue tack on them because I've been constantly checking placements. And her arms fell off. Shocker. Pop them back on there. So there she goes. the sister, which just ignore, I've already broken her flail, so, or whip, or whatever you want to call it. Knew it was going to happen sooner or later. Anyway, so this is a rough layout, and I had originally built up the platforms they're standing on, and then I realized because of the scale that if I'm doing a diorama where they're running up to fight him, like, they couldn't reach because they got little teeny tiny legs. So it was kind of a good thing, because that way, instead of having them on platforms, I built it up a little bit and built them little paths to follow with the bark and kind of filled in that space. And then it gave me the tunnels and just a lot of really cool things going on. So yeah, that's the rough positioning. I'm probably going to add a little bit more to the base, but I want to get these guys painted up first and then see how it feels as a composition before I start adding a whole bunch of other stuff on. I was originally thinking about doing trees, but I think given the size of this, I wanted to keep it pretty compact because this is my first diorama and I didn't want to go with a bigger size than I could handle. And this is, I don't think it's too small, but it's definitely, I thought I was going to do trees. I don't think it's big enough to justify using trees. I was going to use, I had some bits left over from my Kill Team sprues that I was thinking of chopping up and putting on. But like you look at this column and it's just size-wise, even if I cut off a chunk, it's going to be really big on here. So I've kind of got to rethink what I'm going to toss on here. I might have, I've actually got a drawer of smaller bits. So these I've got, this is all from the Kill Team box. So I could do, you know, maybe little pieces like that, but they're still pretty big in comparison to everything. That, and it's, I don't know if it needs to look like a city that's been destroyed, or a fortification or whatever. I think there's enough going on that it's still going to be interesting without pulling interest from the models. I might do scrub brushes. I picked a weird color. I may change it. I kind of want to keep it. The reason I picked this color was because I had started my sister's box and I kind of want to stick with these colors. And that's what I had done on the bases. You can see the grid on these is, the scale's a little bit different. But yeah, I wanted to keep these, I really like the cool colors on the sisters. And then this guy's going to be Alpha Legion, so he's going to be blue-greens. But the plan is to have him a little bit more saturated. So he's going to be like the brightest part of this. And then the sisters will be, you know, not quite as bright. And then the background, you know, there you get some vibrancy from the blues, but hopefully it's not going to pull focus. I was worried if I did brown or red for this, that it was going to be too bright. And it wouldn't go, I think, with this scheme on the sisters at all. But I could paint the models and then end up changing my mind. But I like this color for the background. I think it's cool. You know, it's more alien planet instead of just generic dust ball. But we'll see how I feel about it as this goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I gotta start painting these guys, and hopefully it won't take too long, but it's gonna be the longest part of the project, so. But yeah. And thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or suggestions or criticisms, I would love to hear it. This is a really exciting project for me, and I think I'm going to learn a lot. And it's just fun. I tried to pick something that I wouldn't be sick of a couple months into working on it, so. But yeah.